that was a great experience with the Flagship Amsterdam, which you can see behind me. It's located near the Rijksmuseum and it offers a 1-hour open boat tour which rides through the Amstel River and other canals.
We used signs and symbols because in the 16th century we were illiterate, so we didn't know where you were walking into. So we used as well signs and symbols and as well small paintings and walls. It's really difficult to understand which profession it could be. There are two examples over there. I don't know which you would stand for. It's really difficult to see. There are a few which you can understand, but these ones, even if you would shoot me, I can't. Your boat, but to get the boat through the bridges. Why? In the time of the East India Trading Company, we had sloops like this, but not made out of wood, getting the goods to the warehouses on the canals. They pulled the boats forward with horses on the side, or people pulling them with ropes attached to the boat. But if you came to a bridge, you could not get the rope over and the bridge underneath. So you put the ropes back in the boat, and then the people on the boat would pull themselves forward with the pipes and holes on the side, underneath of the bridges. Otherwise, you cannot. It was very difficult. You cannot row the boat underneath of the bridge. You didn't have the space because they were fully packed with goods. So that's why we use those holes and sides. Now we use them for docking the boat, but it doesn't matter. We need to do it for something else. And as well, with the houseboats or just generally in the Netherlands, you almost always see that the curtains are almost open. If they're closed, it's probably an Airbnb or something else. But most of the time, the Dutch people almost always keep the curtains open. That actually already dates back to the East Indian Trading Company, for when the sailors would go on their voyage. They more asked or demanded of the wives that they kept the curtains open so that the neighbors could check if the wives stayed faithfully to the husbands. A lot could happen. They were away for 8 months, so you can imagine something could happen. You would never know when they were doing the business because the rooms were in the backside. Because Amsterdam was very smelly, you were allowed to throw your sewage into the canal. So we're now on the Amstel River, which is the only natural waterway here in Amsterdam. It's where Amsterdam was built on. It also got its name from the river. It's called Amstel. We used to call Amstel in London. And eventually speaking, it became Amsterdam. But these sea locks, which we're going through now, use to regulate the water level and as well get the canals clean here in Amsterdam. How? By just closing it tends to build up a lot of pressure. By opening it will clean out the canals and the water from the sewage or something else. Nowadays it's very clean, you can drink it, don't drink a lot because we'll be sitting on the toilet for a long time. I did it I did it one time, did it the whole day, drank it for 10 times, 10 rounds. And then I was sitting the next day on the toilet for the whole time. But you can drink some of it, but don't drink too much because it's still dirty water. But it is as clean as you can drink. You will not die of one sip or a few sips.
So in the late 1200s, this was one big swampy area with just the fishers village. It was connected to the tidal waters from the North Sea. Actually, there was a sea coming all the way to a central station called the Southern Sea, but that sea doesn't exist anymore. We built dams way up north to protect us from the heavy storms coming. Houseboat alley. I'm going to speak a little bit lower because those people have heard our story so many times. I'm going to give my break.
I'll back in a second, sorry.
Anyway, come on, specific this is what we like to call the houseboat, U-boat submarine for obvious reasons. I think it would even work one time, maybe not 2 times. And on the left, I like to call this one the Kim Kardashian for obvious reasons. Curvy on the outside and pretty empty on the inside. So you don't hurt somebody. And the next one is the more modern houseboat, we call them the shoe boxes. It's basically a floating concrete box and then a house built on top. And then the old cargo ships, these days all the engines are removed so they have more living space. Now if you have to work on your ship, you cannot do it in the canals, they want to keep this water very clean. You have to call a towing service. And then they tow you out of town and then you can work on your ship. Now you're going to say, well, some of those boats are not passing under those bridges, so how are you going to do that? Actually, when you call the team and they come by, you bring big barrels, you fill them with water and they basically sink your boat until it passes. What you do is jack out 50 liters of water every day and hope it stays afloat.
We have a bridge called the Blue Bridge. It was a gift by the French. It's not so blue anymore, now it's only the lanterns. The blue was a very expensive color, so we started painting it grey. It eventually became UNESCO Heritage, so it stayed this color. But we made a big mistake while putting this bridge here, because as you can see it cannot open. This bridge will stay closed, and normally the bigger ships go there to the right, and underneath, well not underneath, through here. And now we had to duck up a whole set of different canals, which when we're going underneath of this bridge will be the white bridge on the left, which looks like the skinny bridge. But it was a big mistake while putting it here because it doesn't open. And then you paint over the steps in your staircase. So if you had 2 steps, you pay 2 staircases, you pay twice as much tax. And then as well over the glass in your windows. So some houses coming up on the right and the left have very small windows, very tiny pieces of glass in their windows. It was a show of wealth. You had to pay taxes over the little pieces of glass as well. It was also for in the red light district you had the small pieces of glass, not necessarily for the show of wealth, but it was back in the day the red light district is the first neighborhood of Amsterdam, and therefore they didn't have the technology yet to make bigger windows or bigger glass. So they had I just learned it on the last tour, stained glass. We called it glass and lead, I'm not sure. What did they say again? It was a stained glass for the what they have in churches. Stained glass, yeah, okay. So we called glass and lead. It was an easier way to make the windows. But now they have all the technology to do okay. But you also have a lot of companies like Booking.com. There used to be the rolling headquarters of the Rolling Stones. but they made a mistake with paying their royalties. I think they didn't do it. But now the headquarters is there not anymore. They're considered a Dutch band, like Booking.com is considered.
That as a foundation. Now you're going to say, that's not very smart, build wood in water and then build a house on top, it's going to rot away. Well, actually when you take a fresh tree with all the raisins inside, you soak it immediately into water and you keep it constantly wet, it almost lasts forever. The problem occurs when there is a drought. Then there is air coming into the system. And if you have then black water, then you have a rotting system. So droughts are way more dangerous than actually floodings to the foundation. So when you see houses leaning forward, that's on purpose for the hoisting system. When they lean backwards or sideways, there is obvious problems with the foundation.
So on the corners of this bridge you see the flag of Amsterdam, the white cross with the black and red. Funny thing about the flag of Amsterdam is that no one knows the origin of the flag. No one knows the meaning of it. Some flags have a meaning, this one doesn't, or we don't know. It used to have a meaning, but we don't know. If you type it up on the city webpage, the city doesn't know what the official meaning is of the flag. They'll have some stories on their website, but they will not give you the real story, which we don't know. There are a lot of stories. Some stories are that it's the placement on the Amstel River. Some villages down more on the Amstel River have 4 and 5 crosses. Other people say it was from the 3 big disasters, fires, Black Plague and the floodings. That's not true, but because the flag already dates back before the Black Plague. So if they will tell you it's not true, the city just doesn't know, and we don't. So there you go. A lot of people ask it about what's the meaning of the flag, but you simply don't know. Amstel Hotel, most of the time we have Champions League for football. A lot of away players stay in the Amstel Hotel, but then we always have the F-side, our hooligans, who will come with fireworks and wake them up at 4 o'clock in the morning or in the evening. So that's always really funny. Sometimes you have a fireworks show if you're back in the Champions League. So you might see it, but that's most of the time winter to be celebrated.
On the attic. So everything was brought into Amsterdam was kept on the attics, on the top floor. Nowadays, when we move, we still have to use the old hoisting system. So when you get it, for example, halfway September when all the international students flocking to town, you can see things dangling from the houses everywhere. You probably noticed maybe somebody's in Airbnb in one of those warehouses. The living is already very small. They hardly have any place left for a staircase. It's more like a ladder. No way you move your couch to the first floor. So we have to use the hoisting system. So we measure the window, not the door, when we buy something. Now of course we have IKEA, they have a solution, you can take everything apart. But if you buy an antique, make sure you measure the window or you might get stuck with your cabinet in front of the door.
It was a great experience with Flagship Amsterdam. Can only recommend.
And something about this intersection, this is a really funny intersection over here. It's most of the time very busy. So collisions can happen over here, really funny. So sometimes if it's busy on the weekends, you can try. Okay.
My name is Alicia and I'm from the USA. Are you fancy to win 200 USD? Then join our awesome competition on MohammedAli.tv and turn your dreams into an exciting adventure. It is as easy as 1, 2, 3. So let's go. Step 1, tweet the 3 hashtags. Hashtag Mohammed Ali, hashtag love travel, hashtag win money with your photo standing in front of your favorite landmark. For example, the Eiffel Tower in Paris, followed by a few of your own words to describe the photo. Step 2, subscribe to the YouTube channel of Mohammed Ali, like and share it, and leave a meaningful travel quote of your choice in the comment section. Step 3, send an email to subscribeandwin@mohammedali.tv with your name and age to register your interest. As usual, our terms and conditions apply. More info can be found on www.mohammedali.tv. Wish you good luck and see you next time. Ciao!